Gildan Media presents Your Coach in a Box, affordable, life-changing audio programs.
Hello, I'm Brian Tracy, and welcome to How the Best Leaders Lead, proven secrets to getting the most out of yourself and others. Here's the introduction. The race is on. Benjamin Franklin wrote, "Great hopes make everything possible." We are living in the most challenging times for business and economics that we have seen in our lifetimes. Only the fit will survive. There's a race on, and you are in it. And if you're not committed to winning, to conquering against all odds, you will be brushed aside and passed over by people and companies who are more determined to win than you are. Some time ago, Harvard University made 3 predictions about the current economic situation. First, they said, there will be more change in your business in the year ahead than ever before. Second, there will be more competition in your business than ever before. And third, there will be more opportunities in your business than ever before. But these opportunities will be different from the business that you are accustomed to in the present, and you must move quickly to take advantage of them if you're going to survive and thrive against your competition. As it happens, these predictions were made in 1952. A 4th prediction was added later. Those individuals and organizations that do not quickly adapt to the inevitable and unavoidable changes of today will be in different fields or out of business within 1 or 2 years. Charles Darwin said, "Survival goes not necessarily to the strongest, but to the species that is most adaptable to changing circumstances." Damon Runyon once wrote, "The race is not necessarily to the swift, nor the contest to the strong, but that's the way to bet." You've heard the old saying that the Chinese character for crisis is the same character as the one used for opportunity. This is because within almost every crisis there is an opportunity of some kind if you can find it. When Vince Lombardi took over the Green Bay Packers, he was asked if he was going to change the players, the plays, the training, or other key aspects of the team. He replied, "I'm not going to change anything. We are simply going to become brilliant on the basics." The Green Bay Packers had been doing poorly for some years. In his first meeting with the team, he famously picked up a football and said, "Gentlemen, this is a football." From then on, Lombardi concentrated on the basics, running drills aimed at making his team faster and more effective in executing plays than any other team. He took the Green Bay Packers to 2 Super Bowl championships and made football coaching history. Consistent with the Lombardi method, the key to leading and succeeding in times of crisis and rapid change is for you to become brilliant on the basics. In this book, based on my work with more than 1,000 companies in 52 countries, I will share with you some of the best thinking and action skills used by top executives and company owners to achieve outstanding results in difficult markets against determined competition. When you practice these ideas and put them into action, you'll get results out of all proportion to your efforts. Sometimes a single change in direction, inspired by an insight or an idea in this book, can change your business and your life quickly and dramatically. There are 7 basics that never change. They are the key responsibilities of leadership in any organization. On a scale of 1 to 10, your ability in each of these 7 areas determines your value to yourself and your contribution to your organization. Here they are. Your first responsibility is to set and achieve business goals. The number 1 reason for business and executive failure is the inability to achieve the goals of sales, growth, and profitability for which the leader is responsible. Setting and achieving business goals embraces every part of strategic and market planning, including products, services, people, productivity, promotion, finances, and competitive responses. We will touch on these critical factors in the pages ahead. The second responsibility of leadership is to innovate and market. As Peter Drucker said, the purpose of a business is to create and keep a customer. It is only through continuous innovation of products, services, processes, and promotional methods that companies can create and keep customers. As Bruce Henderson of the Boston Consulting Group wrote, "All strategic planning is market planning." The third responsibility of leadership is to solve problems and make decisions. This is so important that I'll dedicate an entire chapter to the problem-solving and decision-making skills that you absolutely must master to be an effective leader. Remember, a goal unachieved is merely a problem unsolved. A sales target unachieved is a problem unsolved. The only obstacles that stand between you and the business success you desire are problems, difficulties, hindrances, and barriers. Your ability to go over, under, or around these problems is central to your success. The fourth responsibility of leadership is to set priorities and work on key tasks. One of the most important jobs you do is to deploy limited resources, especially of people and money, into those areas where they can make the greatest contribution to the success of the enterprise. The law of the excluded alternative says that doing one thing means not doing something else. Time is your scarcest resource. It is limited, perishable, irretrievable, and irreplaceable. The way you allocate your time can be the critical determinant of everything you achieve or fail to achieve. The fifth responsibility of leadership is to focus and concentrate on those areas where superior results are possible. Every great accomplishment is the result of single-minded concentration over an extended period of time. Your ability to select the most important things that only you can do, and then to concentrate single-mindedly on that until it is accomplished in a superior fashion, is central to your success and the success of your business. The sixth responsibility of leadership is for you to lead by example, to be a role model to others. Albert Schweitzer once wrote, "You must teach men at the school of example, for they will learn at no other." Throughout the ages, the example that you set in your character, attitude, personality, work habits, and especially the way you treat other people sets the tone for your department or organization. You do not raise morale in an organization. It always filters down from the top. They say there are no bad soldiers under a good general. One of the great questions for you to ask yourself continually is, what kind of a company would my company be if everyone in it was just like me? Marshall Goldsmith, top executive coach for the senior executives in the Fortune 1000, has demonstrated over the years that a single change in a behavioral characteristic of a key executive can cause a positive multiplier effect that impacts the behavior of an enormous number of other people. Leaders conduct themselves as though everyone was watching them, even when no one is watching. The seventh responsibility of leadership is to perform and get results. In the final analysis, your ability to get the results that are expected of you is the critical factor that determines your success. In the pages ahead, I'll show you a series of simple, proven, practical methods and techniques used by top executives and business owners everywhere to get better, faster, and more predictable results in any business or organization, or in any economic situation. The rule is that each crisis contains an opportunity. There's a saying that professional soldiers pray for peace, but hope for war. Now, what does this mean? It means that they pray for peace because war is so terrible. Every sensible person wants to live out their life in peace and for as long as possible, including soldiers. But it is only during warfare, during critical moments on the battlefield, that it is possible to achieve distinction and be promoted rapidly. Professional soldiers hope for war in the back of their minds so that they can demonstrate their fitness and capability for higher command. Viktor Frankl, the founder of logotherapy and a survivor of Auschwitz in World War II, wrote the famous words, "The last great freedom is the freedom to choose your own mental attitude under any set of conditions." A senior executive friend of mine, whose company had suffered sales declines of 40% in less than a year, and which was reeling from the reversals in the economy, told me how he maintained a positive attitude every day. He said, "Each morning when I get up, I have a decision to make. I can be happy, or I can be very happy. I therefore decide that today I will be very happy, and I allow that attitude to guide me through the day, no matter what happens." You too can choose your attitude under any given set of circumstances. You can choose to be positive, constructive, and forward-looking. You can look upon each crisis as an opportunity, even if it's only an opportunity for you to grow, mature, become stronger, and perhaps even achieve the kind of battlefield promotions that will stay with you for the rest of your career. Welcome to the 21st century. Chapter 1. Dare to go forward. Winston Churchill once said, "Character may be developed in the great moments, but it is manifested in the small ones." Leadership is the single most important factor in the success or failure of a company or business. Your ability to step forward and lead your enterprise to success in competitive markets is both essential and irreplaceable. The better you become as a leader, the better you will be in every area of your enterprise. Fortunately, leaders are made, not born. As Peter Drucker wrote, there may be such a thing as a natural-born leader, but there are so few of them that they make no difference in the great scheme of things. Leaders are primarily self-made, self-developed. They work on themselves continually, learning and growing and becoming more capable and competent over the years. Leaders usually emerge to deal with a situation that requires leadership skills. A manager can work successfully at fulfilling his responsibilities and getting the job done for many years. Then, a crisis occurs and leadership is required. At that time, the leader steps forth and takes charge of the situation. He or she becomes a different person and fulfills a different role. General Norman Schwarzkopf tells about his first experience of leadership at the Pentagon. His senior officer told him that to do his job well, all he had to do was follow Rule 13. When he asked, "What is Rule 13?" his commanding general said, "When placed in command, take charge." When then Colonel Schwarzkopf asked, "But after I have taken charge, how do I make decisions?" His commanding officer said, "Simple, use Rule number 14. When Colonel Schwarzkopf asked, "What is Rule 14?" he was told, "Do the right thing." These are excellent ideas for you as well. When placed in command, take charge. And if ever you are in doubt as to what to do, simply do the right thing. Leadership requires character. Leadership is more who you are than what you do. Your ability to develop the qualities of effective leadership, the essence of what it takes to be a leader, is more important to your success as an executive than any other factor. One of the great principles of personal development is, whatever you dwell upon grows and expands in your experience and personality. You become more effective day by day when you think and act on the basis of the key qualities of effective leaders throughout the ages. You then program these qualities into your personality and behavior by dwelling on them continually. You learn these qualities by practicing them in your daily activities as a person and as a leader in your organization. The more of a leader you become on the inside, the more effective you will become in all your leadership activities on the outside. You become more of a leader by thinking the same way that top leaders think. There have been more than 3,000 studies conducted over the years aimed at identifying the qualities of successful leaders, especially successful military leaders who have won important battles against great odds in turbulent theaters of warfare, which very much describes succeeding in the marketplaces of today. More than 50 qualities have been identified that are important to leadership, but there are 7 qualities that seem to stand out as being more important than the others. The good news is that each of these qualities can be learned and must be learned by practice and repetition. Number 1, vision. This is the most important single quality of leadership. Leaders have vision. They can see into the future. They have a clear, exciting idea of where they are going and what they're trying to accomplish. This quality of vision separates them from managers. Having a clear vision turns the individual into a special type of person. It is this quality of vision that changes a transactional manager into a transformational leader. While a manager gets the job done, a true leader taps into the emotions of his people. In times of rapid change and turbulence, a good idea is for you to occasionally call a timeout. Stop the clock. Back off. Take some time to think about who you really are inside, what you stand for, where you're going, and what kind of a future you want to create for yourself and your organization. Leaders practice the quality of idealization. They take the time to create an ideal future image of where they are going and what they want to accomplish. You should use the magic wand technique. Imagine that you could wave a magic wand and make your future ideal in every way. What would it look like? In their book, Competing for the Future, by Gary Hamel and V.K. Prahalad, the authors emphasize the key role of future intent to business success. They explain that the greater clarity you have with regard to the future you wish to create, the easier it is for you to make the day-to-day decisions necessary to reach that future. As a leader, to remain calm and centered in times of rapid change, you must continually ask two questions. What are we trying to do? And how are we trying to do it? You must play your own game rather than allowing yourself to be knocked off center by unexpected setbacks and difficulties. You achieve this by developing a clear vision for yourself and your organization, and then by sharing this vision of an ideal future with the people who look up to you and depend upon you for leadership. Begin with your values. What are the organizing principles of your business that you believe in and stand for? What are the core values and beliefs that animate and motivate you? What are the values that your company practices and incorporates into all of its activities? Thomas J. Watson Sr. built IBM around the three qualities of quality products, excellent customer service, and respect for the individual. In his book, A Business and Its Beliefs, Watson explained that products, services, customers, markets, and people would all change, but not the basic beliefs of the business. With this foundation of beliefs, IBM went on to eventually control more than 80% of the world computer market and become one of the world's most respected corporations. One of the most important words for leadership success is clarity. The greater clarity you have in regard to who you are and what you believe, the easier it is for you to make critical decisions and deal with unexpected reversals. The difference between leaders and average people is that leaders have clear beliefs that they will not compromise under any circumstances. Average people have fuzzy or unclear values that they will compromise for short-term advantage. Based on your values, if you could wave a magic wand and then make your company perfect in every way sometime in the future, what would it look like? Imagine that you have no limitations. Imagine that you have all the time and all the money, all the knowledge and all the experience, all the people and resources and everything you need to create a perfect future for your business. Create a 5-year fantasy. Project forward 5 years and imagine that your company was perfect in every way. Imagine that you have the best products and services, the best people, the best market reputation, the highest level of sales, growth, and profitability, and the highest stock price. What would your business look like? How would your company be described by others if it was the very best in the business? How would it be different from today? The greater clarity you have with regard to your ideal future vision, based on your values, the easier it is for you to make the important decisions and take the critical actions necessary to make that vision a reality. Once you're clear about your values and vision, the next question is, what is your mission? Your company mission is something that can be accomplished. It includes both a measure and a method. A good mission statement is so clear that a child can tell you how close you are to accomplishing your mission or how far away you are today. Many companies have mushy mission statements. They are, as Shakespeare said, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. For example, a company might say that our mission is to offer excellent products and services in a spirit of innovation and entrepreneurship and thereby create high levels of customer satisfaction in all areas. But this is not a mission. This is a fantasy. This is a hodgepodge of good intentions that gives no direction and provides no measure of attainment. A better mission statement would be, our mission is to offer the highest quality of products and services in our specific industry, and as a result, to grow at a rate of 20% per annum in sales and profitability while maintaining customer retention levels of 90% or more. This kind of a mission has meat on the bones. On a weekly, monthly, and quarterly basis, everyone in the company can analyze, assess, and measure how close they are to accomplishing the mission. Once the mission is established, the role of the leader and the company is to achieve the mission on budget, on schedule. The next area that you must clarify has to do with your purpose. This is the reason why the organization is doing what it is doing. The purpose of the organization is always defined in terms of how the company serves other people in improving their personal or work lives. Service to your customers is the key to clarifying your purpose. What kind of contribution does your company make to enhance the well-being of your customers? Your company purpose is very important. It is your real reason for being in business. Your belief in the goodness and the importance of your purpose is what enables you to persevere against external problems and difficulties. It is what motivates and inspires your people to put in the extra effort and go the extra mile. As Nietzsche said, a man can bear any what if he has a big enough why. The why is the emotional component of leadership. The why is always defined in terms of how you and your organization serve and contribute to the lives and well-being of your customers. It is what your products and services actually do to improve the lives and work of others. The final part of your vision is your goals. These are the specific, measurable, time-bounded targets that you must hit, and numbers that you must achieve in order to get from where you are to wherever you want to go in the future with your organization. In every case, clarity is essential. You must be clear about your values. You must be clear about your vision and your mission. You must be clear about your purpose and the specific goals that you and each person in your business will have to attain to achieve the sales, growth, and profitability you desire. Jack Welch once said, if the rate of change outside your business is greater than the rate of change inside your business, then the end is in sight. Perhaps the most important contribution you make to your organization in times of rapid change in competitive markets is to help everyone to remain calm, clear, focused, and forward-thinking concerning your values, vision, mission, purpose, and goals. This is the starting point of great leadership. Number 2, courage is the second quality that leaders have in common. According to Winston Churchill, courage is rightly considered the foremost of the virtues, for upon it all others depend. General Douglas MacArthur once wrote, "There is no security in life, only opportunity." The quality of courage means that you are willing to take risks in the achievement of your goals with no assurance of success. Because there is no certainty in life or business, every commitment you make and every action you take entails a risk of some kind. This is why courage is the most identifiable outward quality of a great leader. The fact is that the future belongs to the risk-takers, not the security seekers. The future belongs to leaders who are willing to move out of their comfort zones and take the necessary risks that are required for the enterprise to survive and thrive in any economic situation. Boldness means the willingness to initiate action with no guarantees. You've heard it said that if every possible objection must first be overcome, then nothing will ever get done. The more information you gather and opinions you seek before you make an important decision, the more likely it will be that the decision will be the right one. But you can never eliminate the element of risk. It always exists. Frederick the Great, who is known for his propensity to attack the enemy, no matter what the odds, said, "L'audace, l'audace, et toujours l'audace," which means audacity, audacity, and always audacity. Robert Greene, in his book The Laws of Power, said, "Always be audacious. Audacity will get you into trouble occasionally, but even more audacity will usually get you out." The practice of boldness and audacity means that you continue to think in terms of actions you can take. You practice what is called the continuous offensive. You dare to go forward in all circumstances. By continually taking aggressive action in the direction of your goals, you put yourself on the side of the angels. The more action-oriented you become, the greater will be your confidence, and the more likely it will be that you will do the right things at the right time that leads to victory. An essential part of courage is called courageous patience, the ability to stay the course and not give up when you do not seem to be making any progress or when things are going against you. In every great offensive action, after it begins, there is a period where things slow down, and often nothing seems to be happening, neither victory nor defeat. It is in this gap that many people lose heart and retreat or withdraw, or even worse, fight on half-heartedly. But the leader, once committed to a course of action, continues to persevere, to carry through, and to push forward with the same vigor and energy with which he began. In 1941, in the darkest days of World War II, Winston Churchill's cabinet members were urging him to make peace with Hitler. Churchill absolutely refused to consider the idea. He gave his famous speech, which ended with those stirring words, "We will never surrender." When he was asked privately why it was that he was so adamant about fighting on in the face of overwhelming odds, he replied, "Because I study history, and history tells you that if you hold on long enough, something always happens." This conversation took place in November 1941. On December 7, 1941, the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. 2 weeks later, Hitler declared war on the United States, bringing the U.S. and its great industrial power into the war on the side of England, and changed the course of history. The ultimate test of courage in leadership is how well you perform in a crisis. The only thing that is inevitable and unavoidable in the life of a leader is the crisis. This is the testing time. Your ability to function well in a crisis largely determines the success or failure of your organization. This ability cannot be taught in a classroom. It is only developed when you actually face a real crisis, where there is a real emergency and serious potential losses. One of the qualities of leaders that I have observed over the years is that when presented with a crisis, an unexpected reversal or setback, they immediately become calm. They take a deep breath and deliberately slow down. They have learned over time that the calmer you remain in a crisis, the better you can think, analyze, and decide. The crisis is the true testing time of leadership. It is during the crisis when you demonstrate to yourself and everyone who is watching you what you are really made of deep inside. The key to dealing with a crisis effectively is for you to decide in advance that no matter what happens, you will remain calm, cool, and relaxed. You resolve in advance that you will not become angry or upset. You will get the information you need, make the decisions that are required, and take the actions that are necessary. This is the true mark of leadership. The third quality is integrity. This is the most respected and admired quality of superior people and leaders in every area of activity. In every strategic planning session that I have conducted for large and small corporations, the first value that all the gathered executives agree upon for their company is integrity. They all agreed on the importance of complete honesty in everything they do, both internally and externally. Integrity is the first of the values. Some years ago, after all the executives around the table had agreed that integrity was the most important of all values in the company, the president, one of the richest men in America, made a statement that I never forgot. He said, "It seems to me that integrity isn't really a value in itself. It is simply the value that guarantees all the other values." Wow. The core of integrity is truthfulness. Integrity requires that you always tell the truth to all people in every situation. Truthfulness is the foundation quality of the trust that is necessary for the success of any business. Stephen Covey says that the key to earning the trust of others is to be trustworthy. Imagine that everything you do or say is going to be published in the local newspaper. Always tell the truth, no matter what the price. A key part of trustworthiness is for you to always keep your promises. You should give promises carefully, even reluctantly, but once you have given a promise, you must always follow through on that promise. When he was the president of General Electric, Jack Welch was interviewed in Fortune magazine and asked what he considered to be the most important principles of leadership. He said that the most important principle in his estimation was what he called the reality principle. Welch defined this principle as seeing the world as it really is, not as you wish it would be. He was famous for going into a problem-solving meeting and immediately asking, "What's the reality?" The reality principle is a practical application of the value of integrity. It requires truthfulness and honesty. It requires dealing in a straightforward way with the reality of the situation based on facts rather than hopes, wishes, or assumptions. The natural extension of personal integrity is quality work. A person who is truly honest with himself continually strives to do excellent quality work in the service of his customers. It seems that the very best companies, those that are famous for the quality of their products and services, also have the highest ethical standards internally. The fourth quality of leadership is responsibility. This is the acceptance that you are where you are and what you are because of yourself. Leaders are responsible. They accept responsibility for themselves and for getting the results that they have been hired and appointed to achieve. Leaders continually remind themselves, I am responsible. Leaders say, if it's to be, it's up to me. Leaders refuse to make excuses when things go wrong, as they always will. Instead, they make progress. They refuse to dwell on what might have happened. Instead, they focus on what can be done now to resolve the problem. Leaders do not blame other people for mistakes. The leader accepts that the buck stops here. Leaders are intensely solution-oriented. They think in terms of solutions most of the time. They think about what can be done immediately to resolve the situation rather than who did what and who might be to blame for the problem occurring in the first place. Leaders focus on the future, on the opportunities and actions of tomorrow rather than the problems and difficulties of yesterday. Leaders do not complain or criticize. They remain positive and focused on their goals and the goals of the organization. One of the keys to calmness and mental clarity is for you to refuse to spend a single second worrying or becoming angry about something that you cannot change. And in most cases, you cannot change a past event. If something has happened, it is like spilled milk. There's nothing you can do about it. Instead, focus your precious mental and emotional energies on what can be done and on what others can do to deal constructively with the situation now and solve the problem today. The only real antidote for worry is purposeful action in a forward direction. As the leader, you should get so busy working on the solution on the future that you have no time to think about what might have happened in the past and how it might have been avoided. The fifth quality of a leader is foresight. Leaders have the ability to look into the future and anticipate what might occur. Excellent leaders are good strategic thinkers. They have the ability to look ahead, to anticipate where the industry and the markets are going with some accuracy. Leaders have the ability to anticipate trends well in advance of their competitors. They continually ask, based on what is happening today, where is the market going? Where is it likely to be in 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, and 2 years? Because of increasing competitiveness, only the leaders and organizations that can accurately anticipate future markets can possibly survive. Only leaders with foresight can gain the first mover advantage. Leaders are astute in what I call extrapolatory thinking. They have the ability to accurately predict what is likely to happen in the future based on what is happening in the present. They accurately predict the consequences of their actions and the consequences of the changes taking place in the current market. They can extrapolate into the future. What is it that your customers want, need, and are willing to pay for today? Based on current trends, what kinds of products and services will they be demanding in the future? Based on your current results, what changes are you going to have to make to ensure that your products and services of tomorrow are exactly what the customers will be wanting at that time? A key part of foresight is called crisis anticipation. Leaders look down the road into the future and ask, what could possibly happen that could threaten the survival of my business? Leaders think clearly about the future. They think about what might happen. They think about what they are trying to accomplish today and what might happen to interfere with their plans for tomorrow. Only leaders can think about the future. This is one of their primary jobs. No one else in the organization is tasked with this type of future orientation. The greater accuracy with which leaders can predict the likely consequences of their actions and the changes in the market, the greater will be the success of the business. What are the worst possible things that could happen to your business in the months and years ahead? Of all those things, what would most threaten the survival of your business? And what could you do starting today to make sure that the worst possible events do not occur? The more information you gather, and the more different people you talk to, the greater will be your clarity about future conditions. The greater clarity you have, the better will be your decisions for taking actions to guard against the possible crises or to take advantage of the possible opportunities. The sixth quality of leaders is concentration. The ability to focus personal and corporate energies and resources in the most important areas is essential to leadership. Resources are always limited. There is never an oversupply of time, money, and people. As a result, these vital factors of production must be allocated carefully to where they can bring about the best possible results. Leadership requires choosing amongst various courses of action and possible uses of time, money, and people. The accuracy and quality of these choices largely determines the results that you achieve. Start with your personal core competencies. What is it that you do extremely well? What special skills and abilities of yours have been most responsible for your personal success to date? What is it that you and only you can do, which if done well, will make a real difference to your organization? What are the core competencies of your organization? What is it that your company does especially well? What makes your company superior to your competition? What are the areas where you are recognized as a leader in your industry? What should these areas be in the future? What are your most profitable and successful products and services? Who are your best and most productive people? What are your most important markets? And who are your most valuable customers? The 80-20 rule says that 80% of your results will come from 20% of your activities. What are those 20% of activities where you should be concentrating most of your energy? What activities should you downsize, outsource, eliminate, or abandon to free up resources that you can then focus on your areas of greatest opportunity? Leaders always focus on the needs of the company and the situation. Leaders focus on results, on what must be achieved by themselves, by others, and by the company. Leaders focus on strengths in themselves and in others. They focus on the strengths of the organization, on the things that the company does best in satisfying demanding customers in a competitive marketplace. Your ability as a leader to call the shots and to make sure that everyone is focused and concentrated on the most valuable use of their time is essential to excellent performance of the enterprise. The natural human tendency at home and at work is toward entropy, toward a dissipation of energy, toward diffusion of effort and majoring in minors. As Goethe said, the things that matter most must never be at the mercy of the things that matter least. The job of the leader is to help every person in the company achieve laser-like focus on the most valuable contribution they can make to the growth of the enterprise. And of course, the leader must lead by example. The leader must be a role model. If you want everyone else to concentrate on their highest value activities, you must do the same every hour of every day. The seventh quality of leadership is cooperation. The ability to work well with others is essential for effective leadership. Your ability to get everyone working and pulling together is essential to your success. We will talk about the key elements of building an effective team later in this book. Just remember that leadership is the ability to get followers, to get people to work for you because they want to. The 80-20 rule applies here as well. 20% of your people contribute 80% of your results. Your ability to select these people and then to work well with them on a daily basis is essential to the smooth functioning of the organization. You gain the cooperation of others by making a commitment to get along well with each key person every single day. You always have a choice when it comes to a task. You can do it yourself, or you can get someone else to do it for you. Which is it going to be? The greatest principle ever discovered, which underlies all religion, psychology, and philosophy, is that you become what you think about most of the time. Leaders think about the qualities of leadership and how to apply them daily, most of the time. Leaders have a clear vision of where they are going, and they convey this vision to everyone around them. Leaders have the courage to take risks, to move forward, to face danger with no guarantee of success. Leaders have integrity. They deal honestly and straightforwardly with each person. They tell the truth, and they always keep their word. Leaders are responsible. They take charge. They focus on the solution rather than the problem. They concentrate on what can be done rather than on what has happened. They refuse to make excuses or to blame other people. Leaders have foresight. They're continually looking ahead and anticipating what might happen. They make provisions to guard against possible reversals and put themselves into a position to take advantage of possible opportunities. Leaders cooperate well with others. They are liked and respected by everyone around them. They go out of their way to get along well with the key people upon which the company depends. They truly believe that people are our most valuable asset. The best companies have the best leaders. The second best companies have the second best leaders. The third best companies in these times of turbulence are, unfortunately, on their way out of business. The most important contribution you can make to your company is to be a leader, to accept responsibility for results, and to dare to go forward. Chapter 2. Leaders know themselves. Abraham Maslow said, "You will either step forward into growth, or you will step backward into safety." The better you know and understand yourself, the better decisions you will make, and the better results you will get. What is the most important and valuable work that you do? The answer is thinking. The quality of your thinking largely determines the quality of your life. Why is this? The quality of your thinking determines the quality of your choices and decisions. The quality of your decisions determines the quality of your actions. The quality of your actions determines the quality of your results, and the quality of your results determines almost everything that happens to you, especially in business. One of the most important words in thinking and action is the word consequences. An action is important if it has serious potential consequences. An action is unimportant if it has few or no potential consequences. The consequences of your thinking and the actions you take based on that thinking can have enormous consequences. Your decision to introduce a new product or service, hire or fire a key person, make an investment in a particular area, all of these can have significant consequences. Perhaps the most powerful stimulant of good thinking is pointed questions that force you to analyze and decide exactly what you want and what you are going to do to achieve it. The questions that follow will help you to develop greater clarity about who you really are inside and what is truly important to you. If your answers to any of these questions are wrong, this alone can cause you to make the wrong choices and decisions and sabotage your ability to get the results that are expected of you. Since you are listening to this on audio, stop the audio when you hear a question that causes you to ponder and turn it over in your mind for a while before you continue. Here's the first question. Number 1. What is your current position? In other words, what is your job title? That's pretty simple. Number 2. What are the 3 most important things you do in your work? You know that there are only 3 things that account for 90% of all of your value. What are those 3 things that you do that account for most of your value? Number 3. How do you measure results, success, and accomplishment in your work? Number 4. What are your special abilities and talents? Everybody has special abilities and talents that make them unique and different from all other people in the world. What are yours? Number 5. What tasks do you perform especially well? On a scale of 1 to 10, there are always some tasks that you do much better than others. Number 6. What are your 3 most important goals in your work? Are they financial goals, quantitative? Are they qualitative goals? And so on. What specific actions could you take immediately to achieve these goals? Number 7. What are your 3 most important goals in your family and personal life? And what specific actions could you take immediately to achieve these goals for yourself and your family? 8. What are your 3 most important financial goals? And what specific actions could you take immediately to achieve these goals? Number 9. What are your 3 most important health goals? And what specific actions could you take immediately to achieve these goals? Now, this is an interesting area Imagine that you could wave a magic wand and make your health perfect in every way. How would it be different from today? Imagine you could wave a magic wand and make your family life perfect in every way. How would it be different from today? Number 10, what are your 3 most important career goals? In other words, what do you want to accomplish in your career? Where do you want to be? What do you want to be doing? And what specific actions could you take immediately to begin achieving those goals? Number 11, what 3 skills could you develop that would help you the most to achieve your most important goals? Another way of asking that is, what are your biggest current weaknesses in your field, and how could you compensate for those? What specific actions could you take immediately to achieve these skill goals? Number 12, what are the 3 greatest opportunities in your life right now? Opportunities could be in your career, your business, your family, or your future. What could you do immediately to take advantage of these opportunities? Number 13, what are your 3 biggest worries or concerns in life right now? What causes you the most stress or aggravation right now, internally or externally, in your work or in your family? And what steps could you take immediately to begin resolving these worries or concerns? Number 14, what 3 personal qualities do you have that you are most proud of? Imagine that they were going to engrave 3 qualities on your gravestone. What are the qualities you'd most like to be remembered for? Number 15, what 3 weaknesses do you have that you would like to overcome? All strong people have far more weaknesses than strength, and sometimes the overcoming of a single weakness can help you to use your strengths at a higher level. Number 16, what 3 words would you like people to use to describe you when you pass away? I remember him or her. He or she was. Fill in the blanks. Number 17, what are your 3 most important business values? Now this is interesting because all companies are built around values, either clear or vague. And the greater clarity you have with regard to your values, the easier it is to make decisions where you live consistently with them. Number 18, what are the 3 most important values that guide your relationships with your family and others? In other words, how do you relate to your spouse, to your children? What are the values that your family stands for and believes in? Number 19, who are the most important people in your work? And when you get a chance, take a piece of paper and write them down and write their position. Because the most important people in your work have an enormous influence on how successful or unsuccessful you are. Number 20, who are the most important people in your personal life? If you're married, start with your spouse, and then your children, and then your very best friends and relatives. Number 21, in knowing yourself, what are your favorite non-work activities? What do you like to do when you're not working? Number 22, what would you do if you were forced to take a day off? If you just couldn't work at all, the company was closed down for mechanical reasons, and you had to take a day off, what would you want to do with that day? Number 23, what would you do if you were forced to take a month off and you had an unlimited budget? You could do anything, go anywhere, and you had a whole month to do it in. Number 24, what would you do with your life if you learned today that you only had 6 months to live? You were going to enjoy perfect health for 180 days and then drop stone dead on the 181st day. What would you want to do in that last 6 months? Here's another question. Number 25, what would you do if you had $20 million in the bank but only 10 years to live? How would you spend your time if you had $20 million, which means pretty much unlimited funds, but you only had 10 years to spend it in? Number 26, what goals would you set for yourself if you were absolutely guaranteed of success? Imagine the magic wand theory. You could wave a magic wand and you could be guaranteed of achieving any goals at all, small or large. What would they be? Number 27, what 3 activities in your life or work give you your greatest feelings of happiness and self-esteem? Abraham Maslow called these your peak experiences. where you feel the happiest when you're doing these things. What are they? Number 28, what 3 activities or tasks do you enjoy the least? You don't enjoy doing them, you don't like it getting yourself up to doing them, you're glad when they're over, but you get no pleasure from them. For example, if you're an outgoing, gregarious, people-oriented person, you probably not get much joy out of doing numbers and accounting and bookkeeping tasks. Number 29, if you could only do 3 things all day long at work, what 3 activities contribute the greatest value to your company? What 3 activities? Number 30, if you could wave a magic wand and make your life perfect in every respect, what would each area look like? First of all, what would your business, career, income be like if it was perfect in every way? What would your family and relationships and lifestyle be like? What would your finances, your savings, your investments, the amount of money that your investments are earning passively, what would they be like if they were perfect in every way? What would your health, your weight, and your level of fitness be if it was perfect in every way? And if your personal life and activities were perfect in every way, how would they be different from today? There are only 4 ways to change your life. First, you can do more of certain things. Second, you can do less of other things. Third, you can start doing something that you've not done before. And fourth, you can stop doing certain things altogether. So number 31 is what activities in your life or work should you be doing more of? They're more successful, they make you happier, you get better results. 32, what activities in your life or work should you be doing less of? What are the things that are not working, causing you stress and frustration and so on? Number 33, what are the new activities in your life or work that you should start doing that you've never done before? And number 34, what are the activities in your life that you should stop doing altogether? Number 35, knowing what you now know, is there any situation in your life or work that you would not get into again today if you had to do it over? Is there anything with regard to your work that you would not start up again today if you had to do it over? Is there anything with regard to your staff or the people in your work environment that you would not hire, assign, delegate to if you had it to do over again? With regard to your investments, is there any investment of money you would not make again today if you had to do it over? With regard to your health, are there any behaviors or activities with regard to your health that you wouldn't start again today? And maybe that has to do with your dietary habits, your exercise habits or lack of them, and so on. With regard to your family, is there anything in your family that you wouldn't start up again today if you had to do it over? With regard to people in your life, your friends, people in your social activities, is there anyone you wouldn't get involved with again today if you had to do it over? And then with regard to your activities, the things you do day in and day out, evenings and weekends, are there any of them that you wouldn't start again if you had to do it over? And is there any other area in your life where, knowing what you now know, you wouldn't get into it again today if you were starting over again today? Number 36. Make a list of 10 goals in your life that you would like to accomplish in the future based on your answers to the above questions. Start each goal with the word I in reference to yourself. Write in the present positive tense as though it were already a reality, and then attach a deadline to it. For example, you could write, I earn X number of dollars by December 31st of a certain year. Or, I weigh X number of pounds by June 30th of a certain year. In other words, always say it as though it were already true in the positive tense and put a date on the back end of it. What this does is it activates your subconscious and superconscious minds, and then they work 24 hours a day to make those goals come into your reality. When you write down your goals, you're engaging in what is called a psychoneuromotor activity. You are actually writing them into the hard drive of your computer where they continue to work all during the day and even in the night while you're asleep. Number 37. Imagine that you could wave a magic wand and have any one of the above goals within 24 hours. Which one goal, if you achieved it, would have the greatest positive impact on your life? Now this is really important. Make a list of 10 goals in the present tense, and then ask yourself, imagine you can have all of these goals sooner or later, if you really wanted them, but you could have one of those goals within 24 hours. Which one goal would have the greatest positive impact on your life? Whatever your answer, number 38, write your answer to question 37 in a present tense positive personal statement, starting with the word I, exactly as if your goal has already been achieved. I earn, I weigh, I have a net worth of, and so on. Number 39, set a deadline on this goal. Exactly when do you want to achieve it? A deadline acts as a forcing system, and your subconscious mind goes to work 24 hours a day to bring you to the goal and the goal to you. Number 40, identify the main obstacles you will have to overcome to achieve your most important goal. Write them down. Ask the question, why aren't I already at my goal? What is stopping me from getting there? What is holding me back? Number 41, identify the additional knowledge, information, or skills you will have to acquire to achieve this goal. Remember, to achieve a goal that you've never achieved before, you're probably going to have to develop a skill or an ability that you've never had before. Number 42, make a list of the people whose help and cooperation you will need to achieve your most important goal. Be sure to include the members of your family who will have to compensate for the amount of time and energy you'll put into achieving the goal, but also think about your boss, think about your bankers, think about your customers, think about other people like suppliers whose cooperation you will need. Number 43, now make a list of all the things you will have to do, the steps you'll have to take to achieve your most important goal. And number 44, from the steps above, what one action are you going to take immediately to achieve your most important goal? This is the great question. After all the questions have been answered, they boil down to your most important goal and the one action you can take immediately to begin moving toward that goal. Leaders know themselves. They know who they are and what they want. The greater clarity with which you can answer these questions, the more effective you will be as a leader. The very exercise of answering these questions about yourself, your business, and your world gives you greater clarity, and it makes you a more effective person. You will make better decisions, set clear priorities, allocate people and money more intelligently, and utilize your personal time and resources to accomplish more of those things that are more important. You'll make fewer mistakes and get more things done with greater effectiveness. By developing complete clarity about yourself and your situation, you will think and act more efficiently and accomplish greater results in everything you do.